Imagine a young man, barely known outside a few Hollywood circles, stepping into a room full of seasoned martial arts masters. They see him as nothing more than a flashy TV actor, a gimmick to draw in crowds. But by the end of the night, he's not just performed, he's transformed the way they think about martial arts forever. This is the untold story of Bruce Lee's legendary appearance at the 1966 San Francisco Martial Arts Display, a night that started with skepticism and ended in profound respect. Welcome to our deep dive into one of the most pivotal moments in martial arts history. If you're a fan of Bruce Lee, or just love stories of underdogs who changed the game, you're in for a treat. Hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss out on more epic tales like this, and let's jump right in. The rise of a legend, Bruce Lee's early years. Before we get to that fateful night in March 1966, we need to understand who Bruce Lee was at that point in his life. Born on November 27, 1940, in San Francisco's Chinatown during the Hour and Year of the Dragon, Bruce Chun Fan Lee seemed destined for greatness from the start. His father, Lee Hoi Chuen, was a famous Cantonese opera star, and his mother, Grace Ho, came from one of Hong Kong's wealthiest families. But Bruce's early life was far from easy. Growing up in Hong Kong after World War II, he was a street-smart kid who got into fights more often than not. By age 13, he was already studying Wing Chun under the legendary Yip Man, a master who would shape his foundational skills. Bruce wasn't just a fighter, he was a thinker. He absorbed philosophy, poetry, and even cha-cha dancing, winning Hong Kong's cha-cha championship in 1958. But trouble followed him. After a particularly brutal street fight where he defeated a rival gang member, his parents decided it was time for a change. At 18, with just $100 in his pocket and a one-way ticket, Bruce sailed back to the United States, the land of his birth. He landed in San Francisco, worked as a dance instructor, and eventually moved to Seattle to attend the University of Washington, where he majored in philosophy. It was there that he began teaching martial arts to a small group of students, blending Wing Chun with elements of boxing and fencing. By the early 1960s, he'd opened his own school, the Jun Fan Gung Fu Institute, first in Seattle and then in Oakland. He was innovative, questioning traditional forms and emphasizing practicality over ritual. But the martial arts world back then was rigid, bound by ancient lineages and strict hierarchies. Bruce's ideas were seen as radical, even disrespectful. He clashed with established masters, including a famous challenge fight in 1964 against Wong Jack Man, a kung fu expert from San Francisco's Chinatown. That bout, though shrouded in myth, reportedly lasted only a few minutes, with Bruce emerging victorious, but dissatisfied with his own performance. It pushed him to evolve his style further, laying the groundwork for what would become Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. Now, fast forward to 1965. Bruce had caught the eye of Hollywood. After a stunning demonstration at the Long Beach International Karate Championships in 1964, where he showcased his one-inch punch and two-finger push-ups, he landed the role of Kato in the TV series The Green Hornet. It was his big break, but to many in the martial arts community, it made him look like a sellout. An actor playing a masked chauffeur who could kick butt? It screamed gimmick. Little did they know, Bruce was using the platform to hone his skills and spread his philosophy. He trained relentlessly, pushing his body to limits that seemed superhuman. 500 punches a day with each hand, endless sit-ups and speed drills that made him faster than the eye could follow. As we delve deeper into this story, remember, Bruce wasn't born a legend. He built himself into one through sweat, study, and sheer will. If this backstory has you hooked, smash that like button to show your appreciation and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more epic tales like this. And let's jump right in. Setting the stage, the San Francisco Martial Arts Display. March 1966. San Francisco was a city buzzing with change. The counterculture movement was just starting to brew, with hippies flocking to Haight-Ashbury and the Summer of Love on the horizon. But in the world of martial arts, things were still very traditional. The Pacific Coast Martial Federation, a loose alliance of dojos from California and beyond, organized annual displays to showcase various styles: karate from Japan, taekwondo from Korea, aikido, kenpo, and of course, Chinese kung fu. These events were like trade shows for fighters, opportunities to recruit students, honor lineages, and preserve ancient arts in a modern world. The Hamilton Pavilion, a modest venue in the heart of the city, was chosen for that year's display. Picture it: polished wooden floors reflecting the harsh stage lights, banners of dragons and tigers fluttering from a gentle ceiling fan breeze. The air smelled of sweat and liniment, mixed with the faint aroma of popcorn from the concession stands. Organizers expected a decent turnout, maybe 500 people, mostly practitioners, their families, and a few curious locals. To boost ticket sales, they decided to add a celebrity touch. Enter Bruce Lee, the up-and-coming star of the Green Hornet, set to premiere later that year. The hand-drawn posters at the entrance hyped him up. Star of the upcoming TV series, The Green Hornet. See his lightning-fast skills live. But backstage, the vibe was different. Bruce, at just 25, was viewed with suspicion. The older masters whispered amongst themselves. "This is what martial arts has become," grumbled Masaru Watanabe, a stern-eyed Shotokan sensei with decades of experience. His colleague nodded. "He moves fast, sure, but so do jugglers." They saw Bruce as a novelty, invited purely to sell tickets, not to teach or inspire. Bruce arrived quietly, stretching in a corner, his movements fluid like a dancer's. He wore a simple black kung fu uniform, no frills, no showmanship. He observed the other performers with genuine interest, studying their forms without applause. Not out of arrogance, but because he was analyzing, questioning. The event's organizer, Phil Trainer, a wiry dojo manager, pulled him aside during setup. "Bruce, remember, 5 minutes tops. Just give him some kicks, show off that lightning jab, maybe throw in a backflip. The audience loves that stuff." Bruce's response was calm, but firm. "You invited me to be a gimmick, but that's not what I came here for." Phil blinked, confused. "Wait, what?" Bruce just smiled faintly. "You'll see." As the crowd shuffled in, murmuring with polite anticipation, no one could have predicted the storm about to unfold. The display was set to feature dozens of schools, each with 10 minutes to shine. High kicks, synchronized katas, board breaks, everything steeped in heritage. 4 generations of Okinawan tradition, direct students of Yip Man, third-degree black belts certified in Korea. The announcer's tone shifted to theatrical hype. "And now, straight from Hollywood, the man with the fastest hands in television, Bruce Lee." Scattered applause rippled through the room. A few teenagers whistled, recognizing him from TV buzz. Bruce stepped forward, calm as ever. What happened next wasn't just a demonstration. It was a revelation. But before we reveal the sparks that flew, if you're gripped by this buildup, drop a comment below. What's your prediction for how this night ends? And don't forget to like and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories from martial arts history. Stay tuned, we're just getting to the good part.
The performance that shocked the world. Bruce stood in the center of the floor, silent for a few long seconds. The room hushed, waiting for the flashy kicks they'd been promised. Instead, he spoke in a calm, measured voice that carried to every corner. What is martial arts? Is it tradition, repetition, or is it the ability to adapt, to express yourself honestly in combat? The audience leaned in, puzzled. This wasn't the gimmick they expected. "Many of you here can perform incredible techniques," he continued. "But what happens when those techniques are interrupted? When a real opponent doesn't move the way your forms expect?" Someone in the front scoffed, but Bruce ignored it. He dropped into a simple stance. "Rather than tell you, I'd like to show you." Turning to the crowd, he issued an open invitation. "If anyone would like to spar, light contact, controlled, come forward, any style." Awkward silence followed. Sparring wasn't on the program. These events were about scripted demos, not live challenges. But then, a young karate brown belt stepped up, eager for the spotlight. They bowed. The match lasted mere seconds. The karateka lunged with a textbook step-in punch. Bruce shifted effortlessly, parried, and tapped his chest before the punch landed. No harm, just a lesson in interruption. The man blinked in confusion. Polite applause broke out. Another volunteer, a taekwondo practitioner, came forward. Same result, even faster. Then a boxer with his guard up high. Bruce adapted seamlessly, sweeping low to expose vulnerabilities. The murmurs grew. Seats that had emptied began filling again as word spread. Even the skeptical masters unfolded their arms, watching intently. But Bruce didn't stop at victory. He explained. This punch came from the shoulder. He didn't rotate his hips. That's why it lacked speed. To the taekwondo fighter, this kick was beautiful but predictable. I saw the chamber before launch. To the boxer, this guard is strong in the ring, but against a foot sweep, it leaves the base vulnerable. He was teaching, not taunting. The gym fell into a profound stillness. One onlooker later recalled, it stopped being a performance. It became a lesson that humbled every fighter in the room. In the shadows, Masaru Watanabe watched, his frown softening. Bruce turned back to the crowd. Martial arts is not about following a script. It's about finding the truth in movement. You cannot predict your opponent. You must feel them. React without thought. That's the essence of combat. He invited one final challenger. The pause stretched. Then, slowly, Masaru stepped forward. The room held its breath. Everyone assumed a showdown, the grandmaster testing this upstart. But instead, Masaru bowed deeply, from the waist, the kind reserved for a true teacher. I had forgotten why I began martial arts. Thank you for reminding me. The silence was electric. What started as a gimmick had become a masterclass in humility and innovation. Phil Trainer up on the balcony stood frozen. The energy shifted. People weren't just watching, they were reflecting. Masaru addressed the crowd. This young man has demonstrated something many of us forget. Speed and power mean little without understanding. Forms mean little without feeling. We become rigid when we stop questioning. And when we stop questioning, we stop growing. Applause built slowly. First one master, then another, then the front row. It wasn't raucous, it was respectful, meaningful. The announcer, voice shaking, closed, "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Bruce Lee." As Bruce stepped down, performers parted in awe. Some bowed, others nodded. Backstage, Phil caught up. "Bruce, what on earth was that?" Bruce smiled. "You asked me to be a gimmick. I figured I might as well surprise you." Phil stammered, "You've got everyone talking. Man, I don't even have the words." Bruce replied, "That's good. Martial arts should make you feel something, not just follow something." If this chapter has you on the edge of your seat, imagining that electric atmosphere, give this video a thumbs up and share it with a friend who loves martial arts. Activate that notification bell to catch our next deep dive. But the story doesn't end there. Let's explore the immediate aftermath and how this night rippled through the community. The aftermath, ripples of change. Bruce left the pavilion into the cold night air as lingering students reenacted his moves outside. Poor imitations, but full of enthusiasm. The next morning, the San Francisco Examiner buried a short column in the back pages. Unknown TV actor steals martial art display with truth, not theatrics. It quoted Masaru. He reminded us of the essence. Word spread slowly. No social media back then, just letters and phone calls to the Federation. Some expressed disbelief, others gratitude. All agreed something had shifted. At Masaru's dojo, changes were subtle but profound. Students who fixated on forms now asked questions. Classes became exploratory, mixing techniques. Masaru hung a black and white photo of Bruce mid-spar, blurred in motion, as a reminder. We don't just talk about that night, we live by it. Bruce returned to the Green Hornet set, performing with intensity that intimidated stuntmen. Hollywood saw him as exotic talent, but in martial arts circles, he was now a force. The event wasn't televised, no viral clips, yet it became a legend, passed teacher to student. He was just a gimmick, but what happened was unbelievable. Over weeks, dojos across the coast buzzed. Instructors incorporated Bruce's ideas, adaptability over rigidity. One letter from an attendee read, "I went home and questioned every kata I've ever taught. Thank you for opening my eyes." Phil Traynor, reflecting years later, in a fictionalized interview for this doc, said, "I booked him for flair. He gave us fire. That night redefined demonstration for me." The Federation saw attendance spike at future events, with whispers of Bruce Lee energy drawing crowds. But Bruce, he kept evolving, training harder, philosophizing deeper. His notebooks from that era brim with quotes from Lao Tzu, Hegel, and Krishnamurti, blending East and West. This ripple effect shows how one moment can inspire change. If it's resonating with you, comment below. Has a single event ever shifted your perspective? Like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more transformative stories. Next, we connect this to Bruce's legacy and Jeet Kune Do. Building a philosophy, the birth of Jeet Kune Do. That 1966 night wasn't isolated. It was a catalyst for Jeet Kune Do. Bruce had been brewing ideas since his Wong Jack Man fight, frustrated with Wing Chun's limitations. JKD, formalized in 1967, rejected styles as organized despair. Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own, he wrote. The San Francisco display embodied this, adapting to karate, taekwondo, boxing seamlessly. Bruce's philosophy drew from everywhere: fencing for footwork, boxing for jabs, wrestling for grapples. He emphasized being like water, formless, adaptable. In interviews, he'd say, "Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless like water." That night, he lived it, feeling opponents without rigid forms. Post-event, Bruce refined Jeet Kune Do in Oakland, teaching students like James Yim Lee, no relation, and Dan Inosanto. Inosanto later recalled, "Bruce didn't teach moves, he taught thinking." The display's lessons, questioning tradition, honest expression, became Jeet Kune Do's core. By 1969, Bruce closed his schools to focus on film, but Jeet Kune Do spread underground. Today, it's influenced MMA, with fighters like Conor McGregor citing Bruce. But back in '66, the impact was personal. Masato's students sparked with curiosity, one shy teen finding confidence through adaptive training. Bruce's truth in movement echoed in dojos nationwide. Hollywood beckoned, but martial arts had claimed his soul. If Jeet Kune Do's philosophy inspires you, share your thoughts in the comments. What's your martial arts style? Hit like if this deepens your appreciation for Bruce, and subscribe for philosophy breakdowns. Up next, the global explosion of Bruce's fame.
From gimmick to global icon, the later years. The 1966 display was a whisper before the roar. The Green Hornet aired 1966-67, making Kato a sensation. Bruce's speed stole scenes, but typecasting frustrated him. He trained celebrities like Steve McQueen, James Coburn, teaching JKD privately. In 1971, he returned to Hong Kong, starring in The Big Boss, a box office smash. Fists of Fury and Way of the Dragon followed, with the iconic Coliseum fight against Chuck Norris. But Enter the Dragon, 1973, catapulted him worldwide. Released posthumously, it grossed $350 million, blending action with philosophy. Bruce died July 20, 1973 at 32 from cerebral edema. Mysteries linger, but his legacy endures. The San Francisco night foreshadowed it all, challenging norms, teaching adaptation. Decades later, a former attendee brought his son to Masaru's dojo. The boy, staring at Bruce's photo, sparked with inspiration. "That's the man who taught us to keep asking questions," Masaru said. Bruce's influence permeates pop culture, films, books, even UFC. His daughter Shannon runs the Bruce Lee Foundation, preserving his teachings. Quotes like, "Be water, my friend," motivate millions. This evolution from gimmick to icon is timeless. If moved, like this video and subscribe for more legend stories. Turn on notifications, our next might be your favorite. Modern Reflections, Bruce Lee's Enduring Legacy. Today in 2025, Bruce's impact is everywhere. MMA champions credit JKD for hybrid fighting. Films like Ip Man revive his story. Podcasts dissect his philosophy. Gyms teach Bruce Lee workouts. Reflect on that 1966 night. In a divided world, Bruce united through respect and growth. Masaru's bow symbolizes humility. What if we applied "be like water" to life? Adapt, flow, grow. Interviews with modern masters. UFC's Dana White. Bruce pioneered MMA. Philosopher Daniele Bolelli. He bridged East-West wisdom. Bruce's books, Tao of Jeet Kune Do, remain bestsellers. His estate fights fakes, ensuring authenticity. As we wrap, remember, Bruce arrived as gimmick, left as legend. His echo inspires. What's your favorite Bruce Lee moment? Has he inspired you? Comment below. Thanks for watching this epic documentary. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, activate notifications, and share. We'll see you next time. Keep flowing like water.